Morning, boys. Good morning, it's nice to be with you today, and we have a little bit of a special service today. This comes by a request that Ernie Kaye is standing in my right. Raise your hand, Ernie, so everybody see. Many of you remember Ernie, who was an 8th grader 3 years ago and is now a sophomore at University High School, and his brother Felix, who I suspect to see there he is over here, who was with us last year and is now a freshman at the university. Ernie's asked to come in and speak to you all today, and it was a request that I was really interested in granting, and Father Abadari was too, for a couple of reasons. The most mundane of which is that I often think that people run from public speaking. It's not easy to stand up in front of a group and to speak publicly. That's something that takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of bravery. And that is especially true when the message, as you will hear in a moment, is such a personal one. It's easy to stand up in front of folks and to be funny and to be really informal and humorous. But when you're speaking about something that's close to your heart, that's a really personal expression of who you are, sometimes that can take even more courage. And Ernie is going to talk to you today about something that's really personal and something that's really close to his heart, and something that has required a whole lot of courage on his part to manage as a young man, and a whole lot of courage on his part to have the gumption to reach out to the school and ask to speak to you all today about it. So I know you will give him your utmost attention and respect, and let's welcome Ernie to chapel this morning.
Thin, thick, long, short, clean, dirty, hair. It happened at once. A noticeable patch missing, left eyebrow going away, seemingly ripped apart, just like me. And then worse, way worse. Left brow nearly gone, the right close behind. How? Eyebrows playing tricks, my scalp laughing along. Piles of hair, clumps of it, resting on my pillow, greeting me each morning. Frustration, anger, tears. My masks, my armor, to hide my shame. Alopecia. Good morning. My name is Ernie Kaye, and I have alopecia areata. I'm currently a sophomore at San Francisco University High School, and I graduated 2 years ago from Cathedral. I'm very thankful that Cathedral has given me this opportunity this morning to share my experiences and my story with all of you. And my one hope today is that not only will I help myself by sharing my story with you guys, I'll be able to help at least one person struggling with negative self-image. Alopecia is an autoimmune disease where the immune system attacks hair follicles, causing hair to fall out of one's body and not grow back. I've lost my hair, a significant amount of it. I've lost eyebrows. I've lost my eyelashes. And I've lost hair all over my body. And although it's only cosmetic, it has caused me a tremendous amount of emotional pain. Last year, in March, I started losing my eyebrow on my left side. I had no idea what was happening. I woke up one morning and I was missing part of my eyebrow. My dad asked me, and so did my brother, "What's going on? Are you playing with your razor? What are you doing?" And I said, "No, I'm not. I have no idea what happened." I went to school later that day and throughout the week, and people asked me, "What's going on? Are you going through chemotherapy? Where are your eyebrows going?" What in the world happened? They didn't actually say what in the world happened, but I can't really say what they said in chapel. It's a little inappropriate. But I think you get the point. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know how to respond to these questions that my peers were asking, so I kind of just laughed along. I didn't really know what else was appropriate to say. I just said, I don't know. I'd come home and I'd cry. I was very, very sad about it, especially because I didn't know what was happening. I started wearing hats to school every day to cover my head. I started wearing glasses to try to cover my missing eyebrows. On the baseball team, I was too worried that my hat would fly off when I was running around in the outfield. I stopped playing basketball because I didn't want my peers to see my legs that were very patchy and were losing all of my hair. I was embarrassed. I was sad, and I was worried and fearful about how people would perceive me and think of me after they saw what was going on. A couple of weeks later, I was formally diagnosed with alopecia areata. I didn't know how to accept that, and I was very embarrassed by it, and because of my embarrassment, I wasn't telling anybody that I had it. I needed support, I needed someone to talk to, and my family found the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, NAF, who's been supporting me since my diagnosis. Through NAF, I've met a new friend who's over here supporting me today, Ann Hedges. Thank you for supporting me today. And NAF supports millions of people around the country with alopecia. And they also encourage me to tell my friends about my diagnosis. So I told my friends about my diagnosis. I gave them a little bit of an education about it. I wanted them to know what it was so that they wouldn't ask too many questions about it. And my friends received it a lot better than I initially thought they would. They totally supported me. They were always there for me. They said they would do anything, and that was an amazing feeling. And it finally got something off my chest. So I wasn't coming home crying every day. There wasn't that buildup. One kid still made fun of me, though. And at first, I didn't really know how to handle it. I got very defensive. I started calling him names, too, because that was my default. And then I just ignored him. And by ignoring him, I became a much stronger person because I wasn't engaging with negativity. Because the whole point of telling people is for people to understand what you're going through, and so that they can support you. And if someone's going to make fun of you, I realize I don't really need to engage with that. While all this was going on, while I was telling all my friends, I went through a bunch of treatments. I got cortisone shots on my scalp, and that really, really hurt, and it didn't work. And then I did it again, and it still really, really hurt. Didn't work. I tried topical steroids, putting cream on my eyebrows, on my scalp. Didn't work. I took vitamins and pills. Didn't work. And I got really, really sad and really depressed. I felt hopeless that hair would never grow back. And then I kind of accepted it, and I stopped feeling sorry for myself, because feeling sorry for myself isn't very productive. So I got involved with the alopecia community. Recently, I launched a fundraiser trying to fund the peer-to-peer mentoring program. I'm doing a photo project right now for my photography class, meeting wonderful people, one of which is Anne and my friend Uswal, who just walked in. And now I'm starting to speak, not only to raise awareness, but to be able to help others who are not expressing how they're feeling to come out into the community and share their own experience with others. Hair loss doesn't define me. Millions and millions of men and women around the world begin losing their hair at some point in their life. For me, it's just happening at an earlier stage. I don't know what the future brings. I might lose all of my hair. I might continue to do public speaking and raise awareness. I don't know what will happen. But the show goes on. And with that, I would love to open up for some questions. Anything is fair game. And then if anyone is bold enough this morning to share their own experiences with the rest of the community, I'd be very excited to hear someone do that. So thank you very much to cathedral this morning for allowing me to come in. Everyone, ask away if you have any questions. Yes, so recently I've taken photos of two young teens, one in New York and one at Stanford last week, who also have alopecia, and it's for my photo book that I'm doing of portraits of people with alopecia. And so I had two amazing interactions with two young girls, and talking with others. And once you start talking about alopecia, and then you just go on with the normal conversation, because once you're like, yeah, I have alopecia, nice to meet you, they're still a person, so you still have that human interaction. Start talking about life and activities and hobbies and all that good stuff. So, yeah. It's not super common, but there are 6 million people in the U.S. that have it. So, I mean, you've probably seen people with it. Sometimes people are confused. They might think that the person is going through chemotherapy, you're losing all your hair. Yeah, but I mean, relatively common, I guess, compared to other diseases. Mr. V? Doing well, how are you?
Can you talk maybe about what's one of your big takeaways from this? Like, as a person and just like your thesis and how you live in the world, how has this changed you? What has come out?
Well, that's a really good question. I've become much stronger mentally. And then, like, right here, I've never done public speaking before, and I wanted to come in and tell everyone and share my story with everyone. And I've just become much more determined to help other people and also to make a difference in the community. Mr. Mundy?
How did you get the message across at your school? Is it just with friends groups, or did
Yeah, so I've not spoken yet at my school. I told my best friends last year, as I became more comfortable doing that and seeing the positive reactions and support I was getting, I started to tell everyone on my baseball team. Once the baseball team knew, baseball team kind of told other people, not maliciously, but just because that's the nature of high school. So everyone pretty much knew. And I read the poem I read at the beginning is one that I wrote for my English class this year. So I shared that with my English class, but I've yet to make this kind of talk to my school. And I probably should and will soon. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to play baseball anyway this year, just because I didn't really want to. I'm playing golf this year. But I stopped playing basketball. I was just very self-conscious about what my legs looked like, and I wasn't really emotionally ready to put myself out there, even though at the end of the day, people don't really care about what my legs look like. I do. So yeah, I play golf now. Yeah, so I sent out an appeal a couple months ago, actually, including my poem and just my experience and part of my story. And there's a link. If anyone wants it, I'm happy to send it. We're trying to raise the money, as I said, for the peer-to-peer mentoring program, in which people like me and older teens can help younger kids, support younger kids. And so, yeah, please request the link if you want to support. On this comment.
If you could go back and rewrite the script of how your peers responded to something that they didn't understand. What advice would you give these young men who will also, come across situations that
Yeah, that's really a good question. I mean, the way my friends handled it was actually so good. I was shocked. Everyone was so supportive. People would come up to me, ask if I needed anything. And you just have to listen. You have to be able to listen to the other person. Like if someone wants to come to you and vent frustration and you're their good friend, just listen. It feels really good for the person who's getting stuff off their chest. So just being there to support your peers it's the best way you can be a good friend. Can I say Chess? Thank you.
I really think in this particular group that it would be nice if we could talk a little bit about the kids that weren't good at it, the kids that made it hard for you, and how you found the strength to respond to that the way that you did, and how these guys should respond with their guys that were realize that happened.
Yeah. So there was one kid in particular who's on the baseball team who wouldn't stop teasing me. There's a basketball player named Charlie Villanueva. He kept calling me Charlie Villanueva. He just like, Ernie, where are your eyebrows going? And he knew. The whole team knew. And he thought it was okay to just make fun of me. And I told my parents about it just because that made me feel better, just to tell them. I tell my parents that kind of stuff. And it feels good telling other people when something's not going your way. And I just stopped talking to the kid. I stopped engaging with him. And then he stopped making fun of me because once I stopped reacting, he realized like, okay, I need to try something else. This isn't working anymore. So holding your own, ignoring it if you need to, it's the best way to get them to stop talking to you. I mean, if appropriate.
How long did it take when you first started noticing like your eyebrows going away to become more self-confident even after talking?
That's a really good question. I'd say I got it in the beginning of April last year, and I wrote my poem for English in October this year. So a couple of months and half a year almost. And I mean, and now I'm speaking here, and I realize, like, as I said earlier, feeling sorry for myself doesn't accomplish anything. And the only way that others will know what I'm going through, and the only way that I can get support of my friends is by telling people. So I'm able to do that now, so I'm really happy about that. My family was super, super supportive. They're all here today. My dad's over there, brother next to him, Felix, and my mom is over here. They were my sounding boards. They made everything possible for me. My dad found NAF to support me. We found people to talk to. My brother helps me in the morning if I feel like my hair isn't looking good. He makes it look good. Even though I wear a hat now, he's there for me. He tells me I look good. It's a nice confidence booster. And they've been the most supportive people, so I'm really thankful for my family. Ms. Williams?
If somebody's curious now, how would you feel about somebody asking you a question? Would you prefer that they not, or do you think it's okay for them?
I think it's definitely okay. I mean, it's. I look different than a lot of people. I don't have a lot of hair on my eyebrows, or I have no hair on my eyebrows or my eyelashes. Like, I look different, so I'm expecting people to come up to me. And when people ask me questions, I know they're not doing it maliciously. Like, they're curious. Like, if I saw someone who looked like me and I looked like I used to look, I'd be like, what's going on? So I think it's definitely okay as long as they're not doing it to be mean and not nice. Yeah.
After you told people at your school that you had alopecia, did you feel like you were treated differently than somebody special?
I'm not sure if special is the right word, but I definitely felt like people treated me better. I was being treated totally fine before I started telling people, but having the support of so many people just makes you feel better. So yeah, maybe special. Yeah. Well, it's not that it's an exception. It's normally just like they're there to support you. I was originally, my dad will agree with this, I was opposed to the idea. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to meet new people. I was just trying to keep it to myself. And then once I started talking with folks at NAF and other people at alopecia, I became much more willing to share my story. So it kind of took a lot off my chest. They helped me launch my fundraiser. They have mentors who are available to speak to. They will help, and I'm confident that if I ever needed anything related to alopecia or life, I'm sure they would be willing to help with that. So they're amazing.
I wanted to ask, you said when you first started noticing this, you talked about being scared, being confused, self-conscious, and I'd love to hear you talk a little bit, because what you're doing now is very courageous about going from that space to just how were you able to find that courage?
Yeah, it kind of just happened at some point. I would be coming home from school, I'd be crying, and then I realized, like, why am I crying? Like, I'm losing my hair. It really is awful, but I can still live a normal life, and I can still be an active member of the community. And so once I realized that, once I started talking to NAF and started telling my friends, I realized it's really not that bad to tell people. It's my story. It's who I am. It's part of my identity. Yeah.
What are some things you did to hurt your mind from what's it called?
Alopecia?
Yeah.
I tried to. Especially when I was with my friends, I wasn't thinking about it as much. And when I was running around with a sturdy hat on that wouldn't fly off, I was not really thinking about it too much. So being with friends always keeps my mind off of my hair. It just helps a lot. Yeah.
You said you were losing your hair. Do you lose like your eyebrows and your body hair?
No, so yeah, it looks like I have a lot of hair right now, and I do. There's some parts of my scalp that are very patchy. So I have a couple of bald spots, but because I have so much hair everywhere else, I'm able to comb over it. But I mean, there are different types of alopecia. I was diagnosed with alopecia areata, which is the general patchiness, which is what I have on my scalp. But in terms of my eyebrows and my eyelashes, I lost all of my hair there. And so alopecia universalis is complete hair loss everywhere in your body, which is kind of where I'm trending to. But the thing is, I don't know that because alopecia is such an unpredictable disease. No one knows why people get it. No one knows the progress that it'll take. So, yeah. Ms. Madison? Yeah, I definitely have developed more of a characteristic of being compassionate and being nicer. I mean, because I've seen how supportive all my friends have been and how nice everyone has been to me. So, like, I have to be nicer now. I was very nice before, but now I'm much nicer. Yeah, like, I'm starting to, like, if I see someone having a bad day or I know if someone's going through something, I'm definitely much more willing to, like, talk with that person and be a sounding board for them. Good question. I went to the dermatologist and he told me. And when he told me, I called my mom. It was her birthday. And I gave her an amazing birthday present. It could. And that's part of alopecia. No one knows if it's going to grow back or continue to fall out. Over this past summer, it started growing back, and then I went back to school. It started falling out again. I don't know, maybe school's too stressful for me. But it might grow back, I hope. No. I was definitely much more quiet in school, and I didn't talk to as many people, and I started wearing my hat, covered my eyebrows, and kind of just looked down the whole day. But now I still wear a hat to school. I'm still very self-conscious about it, but I'm able to live a normal life, which is good. Susan.
You've come such a long way from the time you were diagnosed to where you are now. I'm curious, what would Ernie today say to the Ernie of a year and a half ago to make you feel better about the diagnosis?
It's only hair. It's a part of my body, but I mean, if I lose hair, it's like I'm still Ernie. I'm still annoying and like bother my friends and my parents the same way. I'm still the same me, and it's only hair. So I've learned I can't really let it affect me that much. Ms. Collins?
Piggybacking on that, great question. Putting yourself back even further into your people, upper school self. You touched on self-esteem before. What would you say to our current little boys about self-esteem?
Yeah, I mean, if you can stay as confident as you can, it helps. Like, hold your head high, be tall, and just try not to get too down, because at the end of the day, you guys go to an awesome school. You probably all have a lot of friends, and just take what you have. It's like we're all very, very lucky to have gone through this institution and are in this institution. So try to be as confident as possible.
Just wanted to say, Ernie, you came to us in the middle of Holy Week, which in this cathedral is a time of deep reflection on empathy and compassion and solidarity with one another as human beings. So I think this was a gift to us. Thank you for bringing us that
Thank you.
gift during this.